Good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching us in this broadcast. Today is December 30. Today is a special day. We will cover the most relevant news of this year, 1941. Now, in international news, we have the death of the Kaiser William II. In the middle of this year, we received the news about the death of William II, the ancient Kaiser of the Second Reich that abdicated the throne in November 9, 1918. He fled to the Netherlands, where he resided as a country gentleman until his death this year on June 4 in his residence in Dorn. Now, we are going to the USA, where German and Italian consulates were closed. The Italian and German consulates were ordered to close, and the ambassadors left the country in July. This is a proof of how tense the situation is becoming between countries and how they are taking defensive actions in order to protect their interests. Now, this year, the Allies gave a big blow to the Kriegsmarine by destroying the biggest battleship that it was the Bismarck. Only served for a short time after he destroyed the HMS Hood, the pride of the Royal Navy. The shot that damaged the Bismarck was caused by an obsolete torpedo airplane model Fairy Swordfish. A few days ago, this nation received a covert attack by the Empire of Japan on the beautiful islands of Hawaii. On December 7th, very early, the Japanese sent a surprise attack to Pearl Harbor, the heart of the US Army and the Navy. This attack was a great strike and also caused the entrance of the USA to the war. The total casualties were 2,000 soldiers dead and 1,200 soldiers wounded, all of them Americans. The day after, President Franklin D. Roosevelt gave his infamous speech and declared war on Japan. Out of national news. This year was very calm to our nation. Here we have some news about it. On June 21, the exiled Republican government of Spain founded the school called El Colegio de Madrid, with the main purpose to protect the children that came from the Spanish Civil War. They were very well received by our former president. And in other news, unfortunately, on April 15, after midday, Colima suffered a 7.7 degrees earthquake. This disaster left 26 people dead and left Colima uncommunicated with other parts of the country. Although later began to arrive aid from Guadalajara. The president Manuel Ávila Camacho arrived there 8 days later, when the railroads were restored. According to our sources, on June 22, Hitler launched a massive invasion to the Soviet Union, called Operation Barbarossa. They mobilized over 2 million soldiers, and after 6 months of battle, Germans report continuous victories in the Soviet territory. But those victories won't last long as the winter began in February. The German forces are not prepared for these extreme colds, and we are going to see how they will resist this. We are going with my partner
The
Josh.
status of the countries involved in war. This year has not been good for the European nations. The countries occupied by Nazi Germany are suffering of terrible effects, like a big increase in mortality, famine, among others. Here we got some issues of the topic. Germany. This year, the German government is lack of workers, requiring to foreign workers, kids, women and old people. Also, the production of things not related to war is reduced. Occupied territories. These territories are having a precarious life, due to the diminish of the industrial production because of lack of carbon and raw materials. The mortality has increased in a terrible way. The children mortality increased almost by a 40% in Greece, and in Belgium it increased up to 80%. In France, this year the production has been reduced, producing only about 40% produced in 1939. French people are starving in some areas far from Paris. This also increased the mortality over 20% in children. Now with the USSR. The great extension of the USSR let them maintain a stable economy, due to the recent industrialization that had been established in the eastern territories. A place that, according to some reports, counts with many natural resources useful for industries, although they suffer in agriculture.
We're going to the interview with President Manuel Ávila Camacho.
Now, first of all, what do you think about all that is happening in Europe and the northern part of Africa?
Well, I think that this war is an outcome due to the Great Depression in the European countries. Otherwise, I see this as a revenge of the Germans.
Now, Mr. President, have you received offers to participate in any side?
Yes, I have, but Mexico has enough problems.
Now, Mr. President, have you received offers to participate in any side?
Yes, I have, but Mexico has already enough problems.
Now, Mr. President, there are certain rumors that German submarines had been sighted in the Gulf of Mexico. What can you tell us about this event?
Yes, I have some reports, but our naval forces hadn't found any submarine yet.
Mr. President, from your point of view, Mexico does earn anything with this war?
Not at all. Mexico doesn't earn something at this time, from my point of view.
What can you tell us about these working camps where the Jews are taken by orders of the Reich?
Well, it's a kind of discrimination. I mean, why only Jews? And also, nobody knows what they are doing with them in there.
Mr. President, do you think the rumors about Hitler and Joseph Stalin pacts are true?
Well, I suppose that they are false, because Hitler is taking the Soviet Union.
President, talking about the just released Operation Barbarossa, do you think Germany finally could defeat the Soviet Union?
Well, in this war, anything could happen, you know? But I believe that this could be the end of the Soviet Union.
Mr. President, do you think Mexico has something in the future about the war?
No, I don't think so. And I hope Mexico doesn't get in any kind of trouble.
Bye, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I wish you a happy new year, people. Goodbye.